right, so what's up guys? What's going on? I hope everybody is happy, healthy, safe, doing well. We're about mid-January here. I think actually today's like the 19th. And you guys just saw my last video with Jim. We just cut this. I cannot get these goose, I can't get these chickens to quiet down, so sorry, I'm trying to make this video work. You guys are gonna have to just deal with the audio on this one. I'll do my best to get it right into the camera for you guys, but feels like it was just a week after Jim was here. We had like 29 degrees for 5 or 6 hours. We've had a couple of frosts since. Just this morning it was 32 degrees. It kind of looked like it snowed out here. The first way I could tell when I get up in the morning is just looking across the street to my neighbor's roof. You can see there's a little bit of white left in the cracks. Most of that's already come up since, or burned off since the sun's been out. But we've gotten pretty hammered out here, and it's not a big deal. This was to be expected. What this has taught me is, you know, we definitely need to put more windbreaks in to protect this area, because over on the other side of the farm, where I have windbreaks, where I have overhead protection, everything still looks fine. And even after the last frost, after that 29 degrees, what you can see here in the Syntropic system is it looks like it got smoked, like somebody potentially took a flamethrower to this whole thing. My wife keeps asking me when I'm gonna clean this up, when I'm gonna cut this back, and you know, sorry for my neighbors, but I'm waiting until after the last frost. You know, they're still getting a little bit of protection from that dead hanging down on there on the bananas. You know, the cassava died back out here, the pigeon pea died back out here, the bananas took a little burn, the leucaena took a little burn. What I can tell you is the interlobium seems to be way more cold hardy than the leucaena. I can also tell you that the Flamingia seems to be way more cold hardy than the pigeon pea. So those two nitrogen fixtures took the cold way better. Like I said, we just had some frost again last night. You can see the stalk of this Namwa banana, still very green. This is the old burnt one. You know, it's already putting out some new growth. Now I have a feeling that this got a little bit damaged this morning. That might die back a little bit more, but there's still a lot of life in the stalk of that banana. You know, some of my papayas literally have papayas hanging on them, gonna end up as chicken food. You can see this is from that last frost, and you know, this guy had some ice on it this morning. I'll end up just giving these to the chickens. You can see a couple that fallen on the ground. So those still have the potential to re-sprout, come back out. What you're seeing dead here is the cassava. Loquats are fine still. Some of the pineapples definitely took some damage. And you guys are also gonna notice lots of piles of dirt. Those things are kind of like my nemesis. So we do have these moles that come around here and dig up these holes. Went away for a couple of years. This year they seem like they come back with a vengeance. What I can tell you is my new puppy Kiki, she seems to be kind of digging them up, chasing them out of here. I know she's gotten a couple, so she's got a heck of a nose on her. I'm hoping she'll kind of maybe take care of this problem long term. Now, when I just did the last video with Jim on the Syntropic system, I talked about the Mombasa being really cold hardy, kind of seemed to have taken a little bit of the frost. I can tell you when we hit the 29, it did get damaged. So I'm gonna end up retilling some of these paths, like I said, reseeding in that last video, so that's still to come. I have that seed sitting inside and I'm getting ready to do that. All the loquats, definitely very cold hardy. The native cabbage palms, definitely very cold hardy. Avocados, you know, we chose very cold hardy varieties. So there's our avocado, still looking really good. Here's another avocado, still looking really good. Citrus took the cold really well. And here's the interlobium. Took the cold way better than the leucaena did. Here's the Flamingia. It still has some green on it, has some seeds on it right now. Took the cold way better than the pigeon pea did. So, you know, those ones definitely seem to stand out for me a little bit. You know, that is a 9-month-old, 3-gallon avocado, really putting on some nice shape to it. It's grown in a good bit. And you can see it's a little bit of an eyesore right now, but all of this stuff is gonna come back in spring, so this is no big deal. You know, being here in Central Florida, that's what we have to know we're gonna be dealing with. We can get frost. You know, even though we can grow a lot of those really cool subtropical species, we gotta keep in mind that we're gonna get that frost, we're gonna get that freeze. That's something that's always happened here, and that's something that's probably always gonna happen. You know, that's why when I'm pushing the edge and I'm growing some of these things we're not supposed to grow, you know, I'm doing that in my canopy, I'm doing that where we have more protection. And you can see we've started a big windbreak here. And now after seeing these last couple of cold fronts, it's telling me, you know, I need to finish this windbreak going all the way across the front, the north side of this, to give it more protection. So, you know, this is all about observation, all about watching what happens out here and constantly making changes and working with it. Here's the Flamingia again. Nice green leaf on that one. So the citrus is quite cold hardy. I think the papayas will come back unless we get a really bad cold front, you know, like maybe mid-20s. That would completely smoke them, but that one's already pushing out flowers again. Pretty sure that was new growth before today's cold front. Still got some papayas hanging on. And we've had multiple, and I say multiple, probably 6 or 7 pineapples actually already come out of the system. We've had papayas come out of the system just within 9 months. Looking down here at a Suriname cherry, you know, those are very cold hardy. They get a little bit of red on them. Same thing as the Japoticaba. And we do have some of those in the system. So, you know, those are taking the cold no problem. We've got mulberries down here that are leafless. That's very common. That's normal. And you can see lots more of those mole holes. But I think I'm gonna take you guys over by the house real quick and just show you the bananas that are untouched, and 30 feet away, the bananas that are smoked in that exposed area. Maybe we could talk about microclimate for a little more. But I just wanted to give you guys a Syntropic update here. I'll probably make another video right when it comes time to tilling and reseeding, and when I cut everything back. But if you guys are dealing with what I'm dealing with here, you got a little bit of cold damage, no big deal. Plants are tough, way tougher than people. These things are gonna come back in spring as soon as it warms up a little bit, as soon as we get into the rains, and I'm guessing I'll probably have bananas by midsummer. So stay tuned for that. Something else I just wanted to point out real quick, you know, when we prune all this, when we cut all this back, no material is leaving the system. Everything is getting laid onto those berms, going back into the system, gonna lay there to decompose. You know, and then when I reseed that grass, it's gonna be that same thing. We scythe it, we lay it over that material, and we're constantly building up that berm up along the sides of these beds. But something really interesting, you know, just to the west of the Syntropic system, a very cold sensitive species. You know, this is our Tedonia, Diversifolia, Mexican sunflower, completely unaffected just because it's under the edge of these oak trees. So it really is about location. It's about that microclimate, you know, just that little bit of protection. I could show you out in my front yard, every single Mexican sunflower is smoked to the stick. Want to go see that? Hold on. All right, guys, so I'm in a central part of the property now, just a couple seconds later. You can see we have a lot more overhead here, a lot more shade because of all those big oak trees. And now just right over here, there's bananas that are fairly untouched. Up at the very top in the exposed area, there's a little bit of brown on that one leaf. And just as we work on our way further north, we've got more brown. And all we have to do is shift to the east where we have no overhead protection, and all the tops of the bananas got smoked. You can see that one was just putting out some fruit. That's gonna end up having to get cut down, and we'll be waiting on a new one to come up and take its place. But you know, just within that 50-foot range, these bananas over here on this side really got damaged. You know, these bananas over here on this side, kind of damaged. These ones over here, barely damaged. And then we can go ahead and cross the road, and I'll show you ones that have 0 damage. So those papayas still have leaves on them. We did have just a pretty heavy windstorm, so I lost the biggest papaya. It did fall down. Bananas right here, barely touched. And then I'm gonna flip the camera. You guys ready for this? Whoop! Completely untouched. So, you know, just here to the right of this, we've got unfazed macadamia nut. Just behind this, we've got unfazed carambola. And let's walk back into the canopy just for a second. I want to show you some of these other bananas where it's hard to even tell that we are in the middle of January. We've been very fortunate this year. This overstory of the oak trees has really helped to keep the microclimate up in here, allowing us to you know, keep these bananas looking like they're going to go right to the winter. So fingers crossed we don't get down into the low 20s here in sometime in February. But all the bananas in this area are completely unfazed. As you can see, there's no brown, and bananas over here underneath the thick canopy, same thing. So it's all about the microclimate. You guys want to see those fried Mexican sunflowers out in the north side of the farm? Hold tight. All right, guys, so we did end up using a rye grass cover crop again this year. It just gets really brown. The grass goes dormant here in the wintertime. I don't have any irrigation, but it is nice to have a little bit of that burst of green out here. Somebody mentioned in my video last year that rye grass is actually allelopathic. I thought that was quite interesting. Had to do a little research on it. Haven't seen too much of a negative effect, but something to kind of keep an eye on. So all of the gingers along here still looking really good. But I want to show you guys something. So this is Dwarf Firebush. One of those plants that we like a lot. I prefer the true full-size standard firebush, but you know, this one is pretty much unaffected. There's no brown on it. And then let's go over here just 30 feet this way into a more exposed spot. You know, we don't have any overhead protection. And look at this firebush. So not gonna die. This is no big deal. I don't lose sleep over plants getting burnt. We've been doing this for many years here now. Everything always comes back. I'm not planting things that aren't gonna survive a freeze, but what I am showing you is the difference in the microclimate. It's all about locations, all about placement, all about windbreaks. It makes a huge difference. So as you can see, firebush smoked, pineapple guava still looking pretty good. And then as we work our way back into this area where we just were, you'll see the top of that firebush has some damage. The bottom still has the leaves, so it's typically the top that gets hit first. And then going just to right here, we've got no damage. You know, maybe a couple of tips, but nothing like that one that's over there on the corner. So location, location, location. All right, guys, so all the way out here on the north face of the property, and you know, a lot of what we were seeing before, we've got fried firebush, loquat's doing fine, avocado's doing fine, avocado's doing fine. You know, right over here in front of the azaleas, that green that you see, that was cuttings of Mexican sunflower that got laid into that swale that sprouted and came back up. They're now alive. I'm probably gonna end up pulling those out long term, but they're all fine. You know, they all have green on the top. They all still have some life to them. You can see, you know, this is our #1 chop and drop plant. For those that don't know, that might be new to the channel, this plant is pound for pound equal to chicken manure while wet. You know, this is our #1 source of nutrition here on the farm, but just 40 feet over this way, every one of the Mexican sunflowers got smoked. So no protection from the north, very open, very exposed, right near the street. They're already sprouting back down at the bottom, but you can see, you know, the tops of these plants, they're all smoked. All we do is cut them back here in spring and they all grow back again. So we didn't lose these plants, but just getting into the whole point of location, location, location. All of the sweet almonds still going really well. Obviously loquats, Fakahatchee grass can take the cold. I did start changing out a lot of my Fakahatchee grass this year with vetiver grass. Excited to start using more of that around the farm. And then obviously the olives take the cold really well, and the Vitex just is going dormant in the wintertime. So it's all about location. It's all about where you plant this stuff, putting a little bit of extra thought into it. Having a windbreak, having a little overstory can really allow you to push the edge. So we didn't lose anything here. Just wanted to show you guys kind of what's growing on, what's new, what took a little frost damage. So this is kind of a, I guess, late winter update. So hope you guys enjoyed this. A lot of exciting stuff in store for 2021. Be sure to stay tuned. We're almost at 200,000 subscribers. That's really exciting. So thank you guys for the support. Don't forget, keep pounding dirt. I hope everybody's gonna be teaching your neighbors, teaching your friends, getting people excited, because this is the year to grow food. So love you guys. Pound dirt.